you are asking the court for help, and the court is either going to say, yes, we can help you, we can give you the protections of bankruptcy, or no. My name is Joe. I'm a bankruptcy attorney here in Michigan, and I'm making this video to help educate people about what bankruptcy is, because I know for me personally, before I went to law school, I had no idea what bankruptcy even was. If you've ever watched the show The Office, you might have seen the episode where Michael Scott just sort of yells out, "I declare bankruptcy." And that's pretty much the extent of my knowledge of what the term bankruptcy meant. Being from Metro Detroit, I grew up during the time where the city of Detroit was going bankrupt. I didn't fully understand what that meant, and I know that a lot of people don't as well. So making this video just to give you a general sense of what bankruptcy is, how it can help you, and potentially save your life or make your life at a minimum a little bit better if you're facing debt problems. So bankruptcy is just a legal process to help you, either the consumer or business, restructure your debt, and in a lot of cases, just get rid of debt. That is, in broad strokes, what bankruptcy is. So it's not, you think of a lawyer, you think of court as, plaintiff versus defendant, me suing you, or you going to jail, or a criminal going to jail. This is not that. Bankruptcy is more like you are asking the court for help, and the court is either going to say, yes, we can help you, we can give you the protections of bankruptcy, or no. Hopefully you get a yes if you're asking the court. But we can go through that in future videos. So you're probably thinking to yourself, bankruptcy sounds like sort of a get out of jail free card, which, in I guess a literal sense of the word, it is a get out of jail free card, because before we had the bankruptcy laws in the United States, and I guess before the United States even existed, there's these things called debtor's jails. So what that meant was, if you couldn't pay your debts, you could be thrown in jail. Pretty simple. I'll draw a little jail here. Sad face. I'm a lawyer, not an artist, so jail. Not good. You'd be thrown in debtor's jail, okay? So that's how sort of humanity operated for a long time. Or even worse, you could be put into indentured servitude, which is slavery. So those are sort of your options back then. Not very good. So thankfully, the geniuses who came up with the United States of America, our founding fathers, put it in the Constitution, Article 1, Section 8. Sorry for my handwriting, and sorry also if this comes out backwards. I'm doing selfie mode on the camera. So Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4. That is where the Constitution gives authority to Congress to make laws about bankruptcy. So bankruptcy is a federal topic. It's a federal subject that the federal courts will rule on. So if you do file bankruptcy, you're going to be doing it through federal court. All right, the states don't handle bankruptcy. So it's a federal process, and it's a way to get protection under the law from your debts. So there's two types of bankruptcies for people like you and me, for average just consumers, everyday Americans. Those are Chapter 7, which is a liquidation, and Chapter 13, which is a reorganization. So Chapter 7, what essentially happens is any unsecured debt, so like think credit cards, medical bills, any sort of just general personal loans that aren't secured by anything like a car or a house. So you don't just get a free car or a free house. Those are secured debts. Unsecured debts, like I said, credit cards, those can be eliminated through Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Now the risk is, however, it's a liquidation. So if you have a certain amount of equity in your car or in your house, or if you have some assets that the court might want to sell so that they can pay off your creditors, you will likely lose those in a Chapter 7, which brings us to Chapter 13, which is a reorganization. So you're typically not going to be selling off very many assets in a Chapter 13, but you're going to be paying off pretty much all of your debt over the course of 3 to 5 years. Now, Chapter 7, 3 to 5 months. So much quicker, you can get your debt pretty much relieved. So Chapter 7 tends to be kind of the more popular route. But if you have assets, or if you make above a certain amount of income, Chapter 13 is probably the right move. So those are your two options as consumers. I know I mentioned earlier in the video, Detroit, that's a Chapter 9 bankruptcy, which is a municipality. Pretty uncommon, pretty non-applicable to people like you and I. There's a Chapter 12 bankruptcy, which is for farmers or fishermen, I think, as well. And Chapter 11, which is businesses, which you probably hear about with, various big companies throughout. So I started this video saying that bankruptcy might save your life, which sounds like a little bit of a crazy thing to say, but bear with me. And this is a big reason why I decided to get into the practice of bankruptcy law. I think a lot of us know what it's like to feel stressed, right? And I think money and debt can be a huge cause of stress for people. We only have a certain amount of time on this earth, right? And people make mistakes, and people, you have to be responsible. You have to pay your bills. I understand that, of course. But like I mentioned before, there's certain circumstances where the burden just becomes more than it's worth, right? And bankruptcy is literally in the Constitution. It's a tool that many people don't understand and don't use. And frankly, there's a lot of people out there suffering who could be benefited by bankruptcy, right? Marriages fall apart. People start getting into drugs, using alcohol, and unfortunately, people make very bad decisions when they're stressed. So I want to put this information out there, educate you a little bit more about bankruptcy. It's not this big, scary end of life situation. It's in the Constitution. And in fact, in the state of Michigan, depending on the year, somewhere between 15 to, I think it got as high as 50,000 during the recession. Suffice to say, tens of thousands of people file bankruptcy every year in Michigan. So imagine Little Caesars Arena, that many people who can fit in there file bankruptcy every year. So if it's something you're considering, don't stress. Talk to an attorney. If you're in Michigan, please give me a call. My contact information is below. If you're not in Michigan, still reach out. I might be able to connect you with somebody in your state. But all the best to you. Remember, bankruptcy could be the best decision of your entire life. Talk to an attorney. Again, this is not legal advice. I'm on YouTube. Talk to a real lawyer. But thank you for watching, and I hope this video helped you understand the bankruptcy process a little bit more.